Okay, boys, looks like we've got some updates then, some drama in the transfer window. Obviously, we've only got about 5 days left now until the transfer window closes. Uh, and the deals we've been trying to tie up, there's a few more bits to the story, shall we say. So, Xavi Simons, there's now a concrete interest in him joining Spurs. And Ornstein put out an article yesterday as well that we're interested in Fermin Lopez. So this is obviously instead of Xavi Simons, you would think. Now it remains to be seen whether this is going to be just a negotiation tactic, right? And we're making it out that we're interested in Fermin Lopez to try and bring down the price of Xavi Simons. But that can go two ways, right? So Xavi Simons has been waiting ages now to join Chelsea. He's rejected multiple other clubs who have come in for him as well, right? But Spurs are there, and the Spurs' interest is real. They're looking for him. They need a Maddison replacement. Maddison's out for the season with an ACL injury, and they've got money. You know that they've been interested in Savinho. They bid 70 mil for Nico Paz, but it looks like Nico Paz will be going to Real Madrid next year. He's just going to stay at that club, Como, for another season. So look, Spurs are there. It's London. You know, it's not quite the same reputation as Chelsea, right? But I think they'll match the wage demands. They've got the money. So we've been trying to get Xavi Simons for 50 million. If Spurs are coming in and say, you know what, we'll give you 60, 65 million, Leipzig are obviously going to want to be taking that deal. So let's see what happens with the Fermin Lopez. This did come out yesterday. I didn't do a video straight away just because I wanted to see some more interest develop and a few more articles come out, just so it's something concrete, even though we never doubt Ornstein anyway. But I wanted to see a bit more information come out and not just do a video, oh, we are interested in Fermin Lopez, because it could just be a negotiation tactic, right? But, you know, so Fermin Lopez is giving serious thought to Chelsea's proposal because guaranteed starting role. Now, I'd question that. I don't quite think he has a guaranteed starting role, but he'd certainly have a lot of game time. Major salary boost, better chances of making the World Cup squad next year. So he had a really good season last season at Barcelona. Quite a few people sort of weren't hyping him up to be the player he is, but he's proved a lot of people wrong. He's a goal assist monster, great off the ball movement, composure, anticipation. You know, a smart player, and he'd be good and he'd perform really well either in that 10 shadow striker role, which Palmer sort of facilitates now, or even if he was playing in sort of Enzo's role against a team. A team we're expected to beat, right? And they're playing more defensive. Fermin Lopez could start as that 8 and then develop and move into the 10 when we're in possession, right? Because we don't need so much off the ball movement and defensive responsibilities when we're going to have like 70% of possession, right? So look, he's flexible. Maybe he could even play like that left wing, half winger sort of position as well. So he fits our team. I'm sure he'd be a great player for Maresca. It just remains to be seen, do we go for Fermin Lopez? And it's looking like we could probably get him for about 40 million. Sources close to Fermin indicate that he's seriously considering Chelsea. He needs to decide soon. And then we've also got this here. So this came out about 2 hours ago. So Tottenham are holding talks over a pre-deadline bid for Xavi Simons to rival Chelsea. Chelsea are evaluating a move for Lopez, which could open the doors for Simons to Spurs. Now, if you wanted to bet money on this and what I truly think will happen, it's looking more likely that Fermin Lopez goes to Chelsea, joins us, and Xavi Simons goes to Spurs. Spurs are looking for that big talisman player. Look, they were looking for Savinho, Nico Paz. Xavi Simons is the similar profile, creative 10 that they need for the Maddison replacement. Big name. It sort of makes sense, really. And the fact that we've been able to get this deal done for so long, I wouldn't be surprised if he does go to Spurs. It'll be a good signing for them. And I think we'll progress. The Garnacho deal, I'll talk about that a bit later, but just as I was recording this, some more news has come out regarding that. So looking like Garnacho's pretty much 100% coming to Chelsea. We're just looking for another creative 10 who can occupy those sort of zones in the final third. So is it Fermin Lopez? If it's Xavi Simons? Is it someone else? We're going to get someone in that position. It just remains to be seen exactly who it will be. I wouldn't be surprised on deadline day if a name gets pulled from somewhere, and we just go and we get him on that one day, you know. So yeah, honestly, it's unfortunate, but I think Xavi Simons might be joining Spurs. Uh, but if we get Fermin Lopez, to be honest, they're quite comparable. Let's have a look here. So look, Tottenham have been interested in Xavi Simons for some time, and there was optimism he would go to a move to North London, despite his interest in joining Chelsea. And then here's just some stats to look at from last season as well. So you can see here, fouls won, ball recoveries is quite clear to Xavi Simons, which would mean, you know, his off the ball movement and his dribbling is perhaps better than Fermin Lopez's. But Fermin Lopez beats him on more shots on target. They've got the similar goals, slightly more assists, similar chances created, higher passing accuracy, but that doesn't tell the whole picture, right? He's playing in a Barcelona team which, you know, demands the ball, and they have so much possession. So of course, a lot of that is just going to be recycled possession, right? Xavi Simons plays in a more sort of gegenpress, like counter-attacking team. So obviously the passing accuracy is going to be slightly lower if you're in a counter-attacking team because you're trying those risky through balls to break through, right? So that doesn't tell the whole picture. Xavi Simons is better on through balls. Interestingly enough, though, take-ons completed, Fermin Lopez has a higher statistic in that. And then touches an opposition box, Fermin Lopez beats him by quite a lot, which, you know, would suggest his movement and his anticipation in the final third. That's what I say. He is a goal assist monster in sort of any team he'd play in. He's going to be picking up those numbers, you know, similar to how like Salah and Bruno seem to always consistently just get goals and assists, even if they're having a bad game. Fermin Lopez is probably similar to that kind of player, obviously not quite at their ability-wise, but just in terms of like stylistically, how these players just always seem, you know, in FPL, they just always they're having a really bad game, but they still just get an assist, you know, or they just get a goal, and this is the sort of player he is. And anyone who watched Barcelona quite a lot last season would have seen that as well. Because look, say about 16 months ago, a lot of people were saying Fermin Lopez isn't that great. Hansi Flick, you brought the best out of him, clearly saw something there. And he performed really well. Barcelona could have won the Champions League. You know, they were unlucky, unfortunate to lose to Milan, Inter Milan. You know, in the league they were on fire. Obviously, Lamine Yamal is a complete freak, right? So he's got great players to play with, but he's got great players to play with at Chelsea now as well. He's got Estevao, Palmer, João Pedro, you know, Enzo Fernandez, all of these attacking-minded players. I think he'd link up really well for us. So I'm not too opposed, you know, if tomorrow we see Xavi Simons is confirmed to join Spurs and Fermin Lopez is joining Chelsea. I don't think it's the end of the world, really don't. I think they're quite similar players. You know, perhaps Xavi Simons might have a higher potential, but Fermin Lopez is there. He's a great player, great in a possession-based team like we have. And I think he'd perform. So let me know in the comments as well. Who do you think we should get? You know, we've been trying to get Xavi Simons this deal done for so long now. You know, is there perhaps a reason why we haven't quite got this deal over the line? I know obviously we need the outgoings to happen, but you'd think, you know, we should have. It's been going on for about 6 weeks now that we've been interested, right? So let me know. Do you think we should still hold out for Xavi Simons, or do you like Fermin Lopez? Anyone who's been watching lots of Barcelona, he's a great player. And just to tie in into my last video I did, just talking about some more outgoings, this is pretty much exactly what I said. So a source explained that bids of 25 mil for George plus a significant sell-on clause should be enough to sanction a departure. And that's pretty much what I said. I said 25 million plus a 30% sell-on clause. I think that's a great deal. So I think he'll go to Roma, whether we drop our estimation to 20 million or we keep it at 25. I think Roma are going to meet our demands. But if not, there's Premier League clubs still interested as well. So for me, Tyreek George is pure profit. Yeah, I think it's a good sale. And it's pretty much exactly what I said. Let's get 25 mil. Let's get a sell-on clause, which will probably be another 15 mil down the road. And let's move on. You know, it's not a bad sign in a sale, you know? And then just some more information as well. So obviously we saw Rio's goal-winning goal against Newcastle, which kind of stung if you're a fan of the academy, like I am. And obviously a football manager nerd, so I've had many playthroughs where Rio's, gone on to be a good Chelsea player, but it doesn't matter. So look, we've got a club briefing here. Obviously the club are going to brief and try and propagandize, the players they have at the club, right? So rather than dwell on losing Rio to Liverpool after the 16-year-old's winner at Newcastle, Chelsea would rather celebrate the rising stars they still have at Cobham. There's a huge talent pool emerging, headlined by Ryan McQueen. Yes, he's a great winger. He can play off the left and the right. Really fast, technical, can shoot off both feet as well. So definitely a talented player. And I think this is quite an exciting time for the Chelsea Academy as well. Anyone who's been following it and looking at the under 18s and lower, we've got some great talent emerging. We've already seen Reggie Walsh, so everyone sort of knows Reggie Walsh, right? But he's still 16, really good player. We've got Shim Raker, he made his debut last season as well, striker position. We did poach him from Brighton, so yes, he's an academy player, but he's not quite grassroots academy, right? We got Isago Silva, who's the son of Thiago Silva, and he's highly rated as well, centre-back. Charlie Holland, another interesting sort of 8-6 player. And we've got a couple of them coming through the ranks, which I'll get onto as well. So we got Reggie Watson as well. He's captain of England, captain of the Chelsea's under-15s, I think it is. I think, for me, he's a 9 out of 10 potential kind of player. Reggie Watson could be potentially the best player we've got coming through the academy in the next couple of years. The passing range, physicality, just the defensive IQ. He just reads the game really well. We haven't quite had those players come through our academy for a while now. We've always developed good wingers and centre backs, right? But we've got some really interesting 6 and 8 position midfielders coming through the ranks. Charlie Holland and Reggie Watson, obviously Reggie Walsh as well. So look, all the Reggies. But we've got some really interesting midfielders coming through. Obviously, we've got Ibrahim Rabaj. He tends to get quite a lot of. I've noticed on like Twitter and Instagram, he tends to get a lot of headlines because he gets lots of goals and assists. He's that typical, small technical winger. And then Heze Grimwade as well. He's 14. So obviously still pretty young, but huge potential, and a lot of people in the academy scene are hyping him up. So look, we've got loads of academy players. We're always going to lose some. That's just the nature of the game, right? But to me, especially midfielder-wise, we've always been good at developing wingers. We've got more wingers coming through, but we've got some really good midfielders coming through as well, which is quite exciting. But if you'd like me to do a video sort of breaking down all the talents from, say, under 21s onwards in sort of like a tier list and go S tier, A tier, etc., I could do that. So let me know in the comments if anyone wants to see that. I could break down all the future world-class players I think we've got at the academy, because there's definitely quite a few there. And then this is what came out just as I was recording this as well. So Chelsea on verge of agreeing a deal for Garnacho and a deal worth up to 40 million. So I'd be happy for this to just get done. I feel like every video I have to mention we're still interested in Garnacho, but that's the news that we got to deal with, right? So Chelsea and Man United locked in for Garnacho's transfer. Chelsea confirmed the proposal. So I think it's probably 35 mil plus 5-10 add-ons. And then I think it's done. So here we go soon. It could honestly be later today or tomorrow, but I'm sure this is going to be tied up and done soon. So when we get the Here We Go, I'll make a video covering it and just how I think he'll line up in our team. But that's ultimately the news. So Xavi Simons to Spurs potentially, Fermin Lopez to Chelsea, and Garnacho to Chelsea. Tyreek George to Roma. So look, lots of movement. We still got a couple days left, so I'll be covering it all. Just let me know in the comments, Fermin Lopez or Xavi Simons, who should we go for? And I'll see you boys tomorrow. Peace.